The city is quiet tonight. Soft light flickers along the walls of Gondor, and far below, the last lamps still glow in the sleeping streets. Welcome to Nightfall Stories. Tonight, we follow the life of a soldier of Gondor, not in battle, but in the quiet days before the war. High upon the white stone walls, he keeps watch over lands that rest in silence, where the wind moves gently and time seems to slow. There are no horns, no marching armies, only the calm rhythm of a city at peace, for now. So find a comfortable position, let your thoughts drift, and allow this quiet journey to guide you into rest. And if you enjoy these peaceful stories, consider subscribing to Nightfall Stories, where more calm nights await. Now, let us begin. Night had settled over the white walls of Minas Tirith. The great city stood silent beneath the stars, its levels rising one above the other in long curves of pale stone. Lanterns burned along the walls and in the high towers, casting steady light across the quiet streets. Far below, the lands of Gondor stretched into darkness, and beyond them, farther still, lay the east. Upon the outer wall stood a soldier. He was not young, nor yet old. His armor was worn, though well-kept. Silver emblem upon his chest, the white tree caught the faint light of the lantern beside him, though its brightness had dulled with years of service. He leaned slightly upon the stone battlement, not in weariness, but in stillness. The watch was long and quiet. The wind moved gently along the wall, carrying with it the cool breath of the night. It passed over the city, through its high streets and narrow ways, before drifting out across the dark lands beyond. It did not move. His gaze remained fixed on the distance. There was little to see, only shadow, only the faint outline of hills beneath the starlight. Yet still, he watched. He had stood here many nights, too many to count. The watch did not change. The hours passed slowly. The stars moved overhead, and the city slept behind him. From somewhere within the walls came a distant sound, a door closing softly, the quiet echo of footsteps upon stone. Life continued, even in the stillness of night. But here upon the wall, there was only duty. The soldier shifted slightly. Not much, just enough to ease the stillness in his limbs. His hand rested briefly upon the stone beside him. Unchanging, like the city itself, Minas Tirith had stood for long years, long before his time, long before the time of those who had trained him. It had endured war, loss, and long stretches of uneasy peace. And now, it waited, and waited, and waited. The soldier knew this, not in words, but in feeling. Something beyond the walls had begun to stir. Rumors had reached the city, quiet at first, then more frequent. Movements in the east, shadows lengthening, old roads less safe than before. Yet tonight, none of that could be seen. Only the quiet, only the dark horizon, only the steady rhythm of the watch. The soldier drew a slow breath. The air was cold, clean, carrying the faint scent of stone and distant fields. He had been born not far from here, a small village beyond the lower fields of Gondor. He remembered it faintly now, the sound of wind in tall grass, the warmth of summer days, the quiet life before he had taken the oath. That life felt distant. Not lost, but set aside. Here, upon the wall, there was no past, only the present, the watch, the duty, the silence. A star moved slowly across the sky, then another. Time passed. The soldier remained, still, unmoving, watching, as all soldiers of Gondor had done, for longer than memory could easily hold. Morning came slowly to Minas Tirith. The first light of dawn touched the highest walls and towers before descending through the levels of the city, spilling gently across stone streets and quiet courtyards. The night watch ended without ceremony, as it always had. The soldier stepped down from the wall. His duty there was finished. For now, the city was already stirring. Doors opened. Voices rose softly in the streets. From lower levels came the distant sound of carts moving over stone, and the quiet calls of merchants preparing for the day. Life in Gondor did not wait. It moved steadily, as it always had. The soldier walked through the upper streets, his steps slow and measured. His armor remained upon him, though lighter now in the morning air. The emblem of the white tree rested against his chest, worn but familiar. He passed other soldiers along the way. Some had just come from the walls, like himself. Others were beginning their duty. They did not speak much. A nod, a brief glance. That was enough. There was no need for words. Each understood the same rhythm, the same life. The soldier descended a narrow path between stone walls, moving toward the lower levels where the barracks stood. The air grew warmer as he went down. The scent of bread drifted faintly from somewhere nearby. A bakery, already at work. For a moment, he slowed, not stopping, but noticing. Small things like this remained, even in a life shaped by duty. He reached the barracks. The building was simple. Stone walls, wooden doors, nothing adorned. Inside, the quiet order of a soldier's life waited. He set aside his helm, placed it carefully, removed his gloves. Each movement slow, habitual. There was no rush. There never was. His sword rested nearby, not drawn. He sat for a moment. The wooden bench beneath him was worn smooth from years of use. Other soldiers moved quietly in the room, preparing for their own tasks, finishing their rest, or beginning the next part of the day. The soldier closed his eyes briefly, not to sleep, only to pause. Then he rose again. Outside, the city had fully awakened. He walked once more through the streets of Minas Tirith. Children passed by in the lower levels, their voices light and unburdened. Women carried baskets of food, moving between homes and market stalls. Men spoke quietly near doorways, discussing small matters of the day. The soldier moved among them, not separate, but not the same. His life followed a different rhythm, one shaped by watch and readiness. He reached the training yard. There, a few soldiers had already gathered. No commands were shouted. No harsh movement filled the space. Only the quiet repetition of practice. Blade against blade. Step, turn, pause. The soldier joined them. His movements were steady, controlled, not fast, not forceful. Each motion practiced countless times. There was no need for urgency. War had not yet come, but the readiness for it remained, always. After some time, he stepped back. The training ended without signal. Each soldier simply ceased, as though they all understood the moment. The day continued. The soldier walked again through the city, upward this time, back toward the higher levels. The sun now stood above the walls, casting long light across the stone. From the heights, the lands of Gondor could be seen stretching far into the distance. Fields, rivers, villages, quiet, peaceful. For now, the soldier rested his hand once more upon the stone of the wall, warm now in the sunlight. The same stone he had leaned upon in the night, unchanged, steady, like the life he lived. There was no glory in it, no great moment, only the passing of days, the quiet routine, the watch, the waiting. And yet, it was enough, because it was needed. And so the soldier remained, moving through the quiet hours of the day as he would move again through the night. Part of the city, part of Gondor, unseen by many, yet always present, always ready. As the day moved quietly across the white walls of Minas Tirith, the soldier found a moment of stillness upon one of the higher terraces. From there, the city fell away in long, curved levels of stone, and beyond its outer walls, the wide lands of Gondor stretched into the distance. Fields lay quiet beneath the afternoon light. Rivers moved slowly through the land, their paths winding between green slopes and distant villages. The world seemed calm from this height, untroubled, unchanged. The soldier rested his arms upon the low wall before him. The stone was warm now, holding the light of the sun. He had stood in this place before, many times. Yet today, his thoughts did not remain in the present. They drifted, slowly, backward, to a time before the walls of Minas Tirith had become his home. He had not been born within the city. His childhood had belonged to the outer lands, a small village not far from the river, where the days passed with a different rhythm. There had been no walls there, no towers, only open sky. He remembered the fields, wide and green, moving softly in the wind. The sound of water in the distance, the quiet voices of those who lived simple lives, far from the concerns of the city. His father had worked the land, a steady man who spoke little, but whose presence was constant. His hands had been rough, marked by years of labor, yet his movements had always been calm. There had been no talk of war then, only the turning of seasons, the planting, the harvest. The passing of time marked not by watch and duty, but by the changing light of the year. The soldier closed his eyes briefly. The memory was clear, yet distant. Like something seen through water, he remembered the first time he had seen the White City. He had been young, standing upon a low hill far from where he had grown up. The city had risen in the distance, pale and bright beneath the sun, its walls gleaming like something not entirely of the same world as the land around it. It had seemed unchanging, enduring, a place beyond the simple life he had known. He had not decided then to become a soldier. That choice had come later, slowly, not from desire for glory, but from understanding. The land he had known was part of something greater, and that greater thing needed guarding. So he had come to the city, left behind the fields, the quiet life, the familiar paths of his youth. The training had not been harsh, but it had been steady, unyielding, day after day, learning not only the use of blade and shield, but the rhythm of discipline, the quiet acceptance of duty, the understanding that the life of a soldier was not marked by great moments, but by long stretches of stillness. The watch, the waiting, the readiness. He opened his eyes. The city lay before him, just as it had that first time he had seen it, unchanged, enduring. Below, the streets moved with quiet life. Above, the sky stretched wide and clear, and beyond the walls, the lands of Gondor remained. He wondered, briefly, what had become of the village, of the fields, of the quiet life he had once known. Not with longing, but with a quiet acknowledgement that such things remained even as his own path had changed. The soldier straightened. His hand rested once more upon the stone. The past had shaped him, but it did not hold him. His place was here now, upon the walls, within the city, among those who kept watch. And though the days passed quietly, and the nights brought only silence, he knew, as he had known for many years, that what he guarded was not only the city of stone behind him, but the memory of those quiet lands beyond. The light of day faded slowly from the high walls, slipping down through the levels of the city until the last glow of the sun disappeared beyond the distant hills. In its place came the quiet of evening, and then the deeper calm of night. Lanterns were lit along the streets. Their steady glow reflected softly upon the pale stone, casting long and gentle shadows across the pathways and stairways that wound through the city. The soldier walked alone. His steps echoed faintly against the stone beneath him, though even that sound seemed softened by the stillness that settled over the city at night. Most of the people had withdrawn indoors. Doors were closed, windows dimly lit. The voices of the day had faded into quiet conversation behind walls of stone. Only a few remained outside, a pair of guards passing along a distant street, a late traveler moving with slow purpose, a single light in an upper window where someone still kept watch over their own quiet concerns. The city did not sleep entirely, but it rested. The soldier moved upward, toward the higher levels, toward the walls. The same path he had taken many times before. It had become familiar. Each turn, each stair, each narrow passage between tall stone walls. Nothing changed, and yet each night felt its own. The air grew cooler as he climbed. The scent of stone and night carried faintly on the wind. From somewhere far below came the soft sound of a distant bell, marking the passing of the hour. He reached the wall, the outer edge of the city, the place where stone ended and the open land began. There, the night was wider. The sky stretched clear above, filled with quiet stars that shone steadily over the lands of Gondor. The soldier took his place once more. The same position, the same view, the same long watch. Below, the darkness of the land lay still. No fires, no movement, only the faint outline of distant hills beneath the starlight. And beyond them, far beyond sight, the east. He did not look directly toward it for long. There was nothing to see. Only distance, only the unknown. The wind moved gently along the wall. It carried no warning. No sound of change, only the quiet breath of night passing over stone. The soldier rested his hands upon the battlement. The surface was cool again, having lost the warmth of the day. The city behind him was silent, the land before him still. The stars above unchanging. Time passed, slowly, as it always did during the watch. A cloud drifted faintly across the sky, dimming a few of the stars before passing on. The soldier did not move. His gaze remained steady, his presence quiet. This was the life he had chosen, or perhaps the life that had come to him. It was not marked by great moments, not by sudden change, but by this, the stillness, the watch, the long nights where nothing happened, and yet everything depended on it. From somewhere within the city came a faint sound, a door opening, then closing, a life continuing, a quiet reminder that the world behind him remained at peace. For now, the soldier drew a slow breath. The air was cold, clear, unchanged. And as the night deepened over Minas Tirith, he remained upon the wall, as he always had, as he always would, watching. The night passed as it always did upon the walls of Minas Tirith, slowly, quietly, without change. Yet, in the days that followed, something began to shift within the city, not in sight, but in word. The soldier heard it first in passing, a quiet exchange between two men in the lower streets. No raised voices, no urgency, only a mention. Brief, uncertain, something seen beyond the river. He did not pause. Such things were often spoken. Rumors moved through the city as easily as wind through the fields. But in the days that followed, more came. Not louder, but more frequent. A rider arriving from the outer lands, dust upon his cloak. A message carried upward through the levels of the city. No announcement followed, no change in routine, yet something lingered. The soldier returned to the wall that night, the same place, the same watch, the same quiet land stretching out before him. But now, his gaze held a different weight. Not fear, not expectation, only awareness. The east remained as it had always been, dark, distant, unseen. Yet now, not in distance, but in presence, the wind passed over the wall once more, cool, unchanged. Yet it seemed to carry something with it. Not a sound, not a message, but a feeling. The soldier stood still, his hands resting upon the stone, his eyes fixed upon the horizon. There was nothing to see, no fire, no movement, no sign of change, and yet the quiet felt different. From somewhere within the city, another small sound reached him. Voices, lower than before, more measured, as though those who spoke did not wish their words to carry far. The soldier did not turn. He did not need to hear clearly. The meaning had already begun to form. The land beyond Gondor was not still. It had never truly been, but now it stirred. Slowly, quietly, like something waking after a long and patient sleep, he remembered the stories told during his training, of earlier years, of shadows that had once risen in the east, of long watches kept by those who had stood in this very place before him. Such things had always belonged to the past, distant, uncertain, yet now they felt nearer, not present, but approaching. The soldier shifted slightly, not from discomfort, but from the quiet need to remain aware. The stars above remained unchanged. The city behind him remained at rest. The land before him still silent. Nothing had happened. Nothing had changed. And yet, something had begun. Not in sight, not in sound, but in the quiet understanding that passed through the city and settled upon the walls. The soldier remained as he always had, as he always would, watching, not for what could be seen, but for what might come. The days passed quietly in Minas Tirith, yet the feeling that had begun to settle over the city did not fade. It did not grow sharply, it did not change the rhythm of life, but it remained subtle, present, like a shadow that did not move, yet could not be ignored. The soldier carried it with him, not as a burden, but as an understanding. His duties continued as they always had. The watch upon the walls, the slow walk through the city, the quiet moments of rest between long hours of stillness. Nothing had been altered. And yet, everything felt slightly different. He stood once more upon the outer wall, looking out across the lands of Gondor. The fields lay calm beneath the fading light. The river moved as it always had. The distant hills remained unchanged. The world appeared the same, but he knew now that such stillness could not last forever. Not because of anything seen, but because of what had been learned, what had been passed quietly through the city. The soldier rested his hands upon the stone. The surface was cool, familiar, unchanging. Like the duty he carried, he had chosen this life long ago, or perhaps it had chosen him. There had been no moment of great decision, no sudden call, only a slow understanding that the land he had known, the quiet fields of his youth, the simple lives of those who had never stood upon these walls, needed something, needed someone. To remain, to watch, to endure. He had become that, not alone, never alone. There were many like him, men who stood upon these walls through long nights and quiet days, men whose names would not be remembered in songs, whose lives would pass without great notice, and yet, without them, the city would not stand. The soldier drew a slow breath. The air was steady, the same wind that had passed over these walls for generations. It carried no answer, no certainty, only the quiet truth of what was. He did not fear what might come. Fear had no place in the stillness of the watch. There was only readiness, acceptance, The knowledge that whatever lay beyond the horizon, his place would not change. He would stand, as those before him had stood, as those after him would stand. The weight of that was not heavy. It did not press. It did not burden. It simply existed, a constant, like the stone beneath his hands, like the city behind him, like the quiet land before him. The soldier remained there as the light slowly faded. The sky darkened. The first stars appeared. Another night began, and with it, the watch. Unbroken, enduring, as it had always been, the night passed quietly over Minas Tirith, as it had so many times before. No horn sounded, no alarm was raised. The watch remained still, and yet, when the first light of morning began to rise beyond the eastern horizon, it felt different. Subtly, quietly, as though the world itself had taken a slow breath. The sky lightened from deep blue to pale gray. The stars faded one by one, and the long shadow of the night withdrew gently from the walls of the city. The soldier remained at his post. He had not moved far, only enough to follow the slow turning of the hours. His hands rested once more upon the stone, cool, familiar, unchanged. The first light touched the distant hills, soft, faint, barely there. Yet it carried with it a quiet certainty. Morning had come. Below, the city began to stir. Doors opened. Voices rose gently in the streets. The life of Gondor continued, as it always had, unbroken, enduring. The soldier looked out across the land. The same fields, the same river, the same distant horizon. Nothing had changed, and yet everything felt closer. The rumors had not been spoken this morning. No message had been given. No sign had appeared. But the understanding remained. The quiet knowledge that the days ahead would not remain as they were. That the stillness of this morning was part of something larger. Something approaching. The soldier did not dwell on it. There was no need. The moment before him was enough. The light grew slowly, spreading across the land, touching the walls, the towers, the long curves of the city. The white tree upon his chest caught the light once more. Faint, worn, yet still present. He drew a slow breath. The air was cool, clear, filled with the quiet of a world not yet changed. And in that moment, there was no war, no shadow, no distant threat. Only the morning, only the city, only the watch. The soldier straightened, not from effort, but from habit. The night had ended. The watch would pass to another. The day would begin, as it always had, as it always must. He turned slightly from the wall. The city lay behind him, alive, unaware, at peace, for now. He did not linger. There was no need to look back. The wall would remain. The watch would continue. The duty would endure. And so he walked, down from the wall, into the quiet streets of Minas Tirith, carrying with him not the weight of what was to come, but the calm understanding of what was. And so the city of Gondor endured beneath the rising light, where quiet lives continued behind white walls, and where those who watched did so without song or glory, holding the peace of many in the silence of their duty, until the day would come when the world would change.